What is going on, everyone? Welcome to today's News Tonight, episode 21. If each episode were a year, we'd be old enough to drink, which is ironic considering what we're going to be doing tomorrow, but we'll talk about that more later on in the episode. I'm your host for this episode of today's News Tonight, Steve Bowling. I'm joined, as always, by my co-founders in Good Vibes Gaming, Ash Paulson and Derek Bittner. And today we have our very special guest, whom I've had the pleasure of actually meeting in person. One of the first guests I've actually met in the real world, David Giltinan.
What's that? The real world?
Yeah. We talk a lot about the
MTV
before
show,
times
I think,
on
right?
this show. But how's it going,
we joked
man?
about the real world, like meeting people in the real world for a long time, but now it feels even more prescient. It's like, oh, right, other people exist out there and we can actually talk to them, but not really, because God forbid we leave the house.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you get like nostalgic over.
So right now,
David
David.
and I go way back.
Oh yeah, you know the. Oh, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, David and I go way back. You're one of the people I've probably known in the industry the longest, man, along with like Kat Bailey.
Really?
Yeah, I think you and Kat are the ones I go back with the longest. Of course, present company not accept, notwithstanding. Derek, Steve, Game Explain crew. But yeah, I mean, I think we met originally at PAX East years ago. Years and years ago.
Yeah, because I found out that you existed basically through your dad's podcast, and your dad like talked about you being like into gaming and all this stuff. And I was just like, I got to meet this guy. So
that's how I met.
We started talking. I think,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So I mean, like, because we started talking online, and then I think you recognized me before I recognized you. You're like, oh, David, like outside like the media room or something. It's just like, oh yeah, oh Ash, oh hey, what's up? So
nice.
Yeah. And the rest is history.
Fun fact, I think 3 of us out of the 4 of us have the same favorite game of all time. Correct me if I'm wrong, David, but your favorite game of all time, like mine, is Chrono Trigger, and so is yours, Steve.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely
3 of the 4 of us have really good taste here. Derek, I don't know what's going on with you, man, but
Hey, don't knock Super Mario Brothers 3.
Super Mario Brothers 3 is
Mario 3 is great.
Yeah. If I've grown up with the Chrono Trigger, maybe, and I granted I got to it pretty early thanks to the PS1 version, but I'm sorry, I played Super Mario Brothers 3 so many freaking times. I know that game front to back, mostly. It's been a while.
Sorry, Steve, I cut you off earlier.
I was actually just going to ask what David's been up to, but I think he's frozen.
His video is.
Am I frozen?
No, not again.
Am I
yes,
frozen?
his video's frozen, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
So,
okay. All right.
So that works. So
audio.
We'll hope that it sorts itself out. But for now, at least you're smiling. So
Yeah.
there is that.
Right now.
Perfect freeze frame.
But yeah, you're.
You mentioned Chrono Trigger and time froze, so there you go.
There you go.
That is completely valid.
Optima my epoch, yeah.
All right. So normally we do this. You're currently what's your role? You're freelancing or what are you up to these days, David?
Yeah, so basically I'm a freelance writer for various projects and for various companies, including some game publishers here and there, some undercover secret hush-hush stuff.
Ooh.
And also, I've been kind of focusing more on the voiceover realm. It's always been kind of like a thing I've had like passion for, but never really kind of gave like the time to put like put my all into it really. So that's what I've been up to. And I did just recently finished narrating and producing an audiobook, actually, my very first audiobook. So
wow.
Hell yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
That's is
awesome.
Amazing, man. Congratulations. That's pretty huge.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are you allowed to share the name of your audiobook? Can we plug that or?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's not up just yet because like Amazon has been kind of digging their heels like in the Audible front, like getting like stuff out there. But it should be up very, very soon. It is called "Stay a While and Listen" Book 2, Heaven, Hell, and Secret Cow Levels. So it's basically about
Diablo,
Blizzard
sure,
back in the '90s when they were making Diablo 2, StarCraft, and other games like that, and basically all the drama that was happening between Blizzard South and Blizzard North.
Oh wow!
So,
I definitely want to check that out. I have a long and storied history with Diablo. It was like my dad's game of choice when I was a teenager, and so I would constantly hear what's his name, Kane, like stay a while,
Kane, yeah,
listen,
yeah,
and So I have a weird nostalgia for that game that I really love.
I will definitely have to show you the secret promo. It's like a promo video I basically have put together, which I will post up like publicly. But I can definitely show you like behind the scenes, just so you can kind of get like a taste of what the book's about.
Oh, absolutely, man! I'd love to
I
see
think
that.
you might like it.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah,
I played Diablo 2 for a month in the summer of 2000. I really enjoyed it, but I mainly was looking for something to bridge the wait between Threads of Fate and Chrono Cross. I was, I just could not wait till Chrono Cross, and that was back during the days where we're younger and we actually have time to
or
just
naive.
kill instead of thinking about games, and just like counting down the days to Chrono Cross's release, and I needed something to distract me, and that was Diablo 2, and I had a blast with it. It was a lot of fun.
I played a little bit of Diablo 2, but I didn't get into Diablo until Diablo 3. Ironically, when it was not at its best, but I still enjoyed Diablo 3 for what it was. Played with friends, had a good time. And yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of fond memories, but I know friends just adore that game, my PC gaming friends.
For a lot of people I know, like it tops like their best games of all time lists and all that stuff. I didn't grow up as a big Diablo fan myself either, but like I did kind of recognize as far as it being a monumental title at the time. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into our first news story of the day. Maybe it'll shake David's Discord feed into motion.
Is my video still?
Yeah, it's fine though. We imagine you in motion in our hearts. So let's go ahead and jump over to our first story. Going to put that up on the screen now. It looks like, so we mentioned this in the pre-show, Spider-Man Miles Morales has been updated with a 60 frames per second ray tracing mode. So basically the PS5 version, if you're not familiar, because it is available on PS4, obviously this ray traced update is not available for PlayStation 4, but the PS5 version has a performance mode, or rather it had a performance mode that would give it 30 frames per second, that would give it 60 frames per second, but drop all the advanced lighting features that are available on the PS5. And then you had fidelity mode, which gave you that beautiful lighting, but cut your frame rate in half all the way down to 30. So somehow Insomniac has found like a sweet middle ground where you can have your 60 FPS and get your ray traced goodness at the same time. So it's really cool that they managed to pull this off. And it sounds like, according to IGN, that this was done at the cost of like reducing crowd density and doing some other stuff, potentially lowering the internal resolution. So I'm hoping like some of the people that are really good at this kind of thing, like Digital Foundry or someone, kind of dig into this mode and tell us what's going on under the hood, because I don't know. It sounds cool to me. I like the idea of getting my 60 FPS and my ray trace lighting at the same time. But maybe ray tracing is like that new kind of blast processing, as David was mentioning in the pre-show, or maybe the pre-show before we were live.
The pre-alpha.
Because it's one of those things where I do sense that there's a potential that people just will be like, ray tracing is really cool, and then when you go like, what is it? They'll be like, I don't know.
So, that's kind of what I was saying.
The Crash Man in the chat here is, what the hell is ray tracing? And from what I can tell, I think it's a lighting thing where it's more accurate lighting and it just sort of affects, like, gives it more realistic or something like that. I don't know.
I think it causes like more shiny and like reflectiveness, I want to say. Because like I saw someone, I saw someone on Twitter actually making the case for ray tracing by saying that the Miles Morales PS5 port had like shining, like had the people who passed by Spider-Man actually shining, like actually reflecting off of like his like suit, like the suit they're more like reflective anyway. So you can actually see that in the PS5 version.
Yeah, so
guys, I got you taken care of. Ray tracing is obviously a rendering technique for generating an image by tracing the path of light as pixels in an image plane and simulating the effects of its encounters with virtual objects. I definitely did not just read that word for word from the Wikipedia article for ray tracing. I just know what it is. Just obviously, come on.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
It puts it a little simpler. Says photorealistic reflective properties for lighting.
Yeah, it's really cool. I do get the sense though that ray tracing will be this generation's bloom. Like, remember in the 360 and PS3 era where everything was blown out to hell, like because they just way overdid it. I have a feeling that is going to be ray tracing. Like if you look at Watch Dogs Legion running on Series X or PS5, Like it is, everything is absurdly reflective. Like you'll walk by a thin layer of water and you can see like a perfect reflection of everything in London in every puddle. And it's distracting. I get that it's really cool and people are going to lean into cool tech. I think Miles Morales does a really good job of like subtle, reflective properties. Like if Spider-Man's on the window of a mirror finished building, like you can see him very well, stuff like that. Like David mentioned, you can see small reflections in his suit, stuff like that. It's good the way they do it. It's very, they didn't go crazy with it, but other games I've already seen, like it looks ridiculous. Like everything looks like it's polished to a mirror finish, which is off-putting. But yeah, I still think it's cool that they're kind of getting to grips with the hardware and improving performance, even though the game's already out.
Insomniac is really impressive. It just makes me all the more excited for Ratchet and Clank when they put that out there and see what they do, because again, it's amazing how much craziness they can have happen in those games on the PS2 and still maintain a rock solid frame rate. So pulling it off on the PS5, I cannot wait to see that in action.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious to see just how much of a comparison there is to what you were saying, Steve. How people utilize ray tracing compared to bloom lighting back in the PS3 360 generation. Because I remember people, as you were saying, it was overused and it was blown out a lot of the time. But it also never bothered me as much as it seemed to bother some other people. Like I'm thinking about Wind Waker HD, for example, and it's so easy to find takes online about, oh man, Wind Waker HD ruined the art style. It's so ugly. It looks terrible. There's too much bloom. I thought it looked great. I kind of like the level of bloom in Wind Waker HD. So maybe I'm the outlier, but
I was also the one that didn't notice the bloom in Star Trek 2009. So
I don't know.
I'm very bad at picking up those type of things. That said, I think Mirror's Edge had the most egregious example of bloom.
I think if we're talking Zelda, Twilight Princess definitely overused bloom, like much to its detriment.
Yeah.
Like it hampered the art style of that game. But yeah, I think that bloom is kind of like the gaming equivalent of having like a tacky outfit that you wore all the time or a bad haircut at a certain point in time. And you like go back to it and you're just like, why did I make this choice? Why did I do this to myself? But so I have a feeling like 20 years from now, assuming the world hasn't exploded and we're not all dead, we will come back and be like, ray tracing was real cool, but a few people liked it a bit too much. I think we lost David, like maybe entirely.
Oh no, we did.
No, I think he's just frozen again.
But I think we don't have audio either.
I don't know if we have audio.
Yeah, we're not hearing from him, so we might not have audio.
He's been banished to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so with that in mind, we're at least 1 for 1 with bringing him back to life when we switch news stories. So why don't we throw the next story up on the screen and see what happens?
All right.
All right, so our next story comes again courtesy of IGN. xCloud is coming to iOS and PC in the spring of 2021. Microsoft's cloud streaming service for Xbox games will be made available on Apple iOS devices and Windows PCs. They mentioned this in a new Xbox blog post where they go on about increased interaction on Xbox Live following the Series X launch. I think it's one of those blog posts that's really hard to parse. So I'm glad IGN pulled like the most relevant bit of information out of this, because I was like, increased engagement. I ain't reading this. I was like, this reads like a PowerPoint slide at a business meeting. With that being said, we lost David altogether. We're going to keep the story.
He just come back.
Oh, here we go.
I think he might be coming back now. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to keep the story on screen a little bit longer than I normally would while we sort through this. But so basically in a new Xbox blog post, Microsoft confirmed that a beta version of the Game Pass Ultimate system would be available in the spring. PC users will get to xCloud using the Xbox app, which you can download from the Microsoft Store. And if you're on iOS, you have to use a web browser to play xCloud because Apple has kind of these ridiculous restrictions in place on how...
Sounds like Apple.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very Apple move. So
yeah.
Apple's going to go ahead and continue. And that I don't know. I think this is a great move. I think I really like this. Microsoft is trying hard to get xCloud onto more and more devices, but every time I read about xCloud coming to something new, I just think, what about Switch? Where's my xCloud client for Switch?
Yeah.
I will
it's
pay
cool
you.
coming to PC, but get me your own Switch and I'll be really happy.
I still have faith it's going to happen. I feel like we might still see xCloud on Switch someday. I do think that our collective dreams of playing Halo, the Master Chief Collection on Switch may yet come true still. We'll see.
I think that's more of a people just like, I can play Banjo on a Nintendo console again, a modern Nintendo console.
That too. Like, it would be so nice to, even if it is that's the workaround, just to be able to play Banjo-Kazooie on Switch would be so cool.
Yeah. So,
kind of related to this, Microsoft said Game Pass is doing very well. Apparently sales are up 40% in November compared to last year, which I think their messaging on Game Pass has been really good, and that word of mouth on just the value of it has really taken off.
So apropos of nothing, I think that we might be waiting on a Switch Pro or something. And you might think, well, why would you need a Switch Pro to run streamed games? But Nintendo's wireless in the Switch is really bad and really slow, even if you have really great internet. I have gigabit internet here, which is insanely fast. I downloaded Cyberpunk, which is 107 gigabytes in about 20 minutes. Jesus. So that is ridiculously fast. It took me 45 minutes to download Hyrule Warriors wirelessly. So that should tell you something about the quality that Nintendo put into the wireless chip in the Switch. So it might really just be that we're waiting for an upgraded wireless chip in a new piece of Nintendo hardware to allow xCloud to stream at the levels Microsoft deems appropriate. Because I can't imagine that they would be big fans of the service, not working appropriately on consumer devices. Yeah, exactly. You want those Xbox games to consistently look good. So hopefully that is a thing. And see, this story was perfect. There we go. We had just enough juice in that story to get David back, so we are back.
All right.
There it is.
Any thoughts on xCloud coming to iOS and PC, David?
I hope it's not rainy. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Discord being Discord, so apologies.
Yeah.
No, that's totally fine. I mean, we have had our own fair share of Discord troubles here on Good Vibes Gaming. If you didn't notice, the show started like 20
Discord.
minutes late. Yeah, we're definitely not nabbing that Discord sponsorship anytime soon.
We got a couple of great Final Fantasy puns in the chat here. Charlie Bird says, "Put Final Fantasy VII on Game Pass so we can have Cloud on xCloud." And then 112, not to be outdone, says, "Since Final Fantasy 12 is on Game Pass, is that wonderful?"
Oh God.
I like that. I like that wonderful. That's good. 112, nicely done. Nicely played.
By the way, I've seen a few questions in chat on my Kirby. I actually got this for Amy. This is one of her plushes. This is Angel Kirby or Cupid. Nice. No, actually, no. I think it's Cupid. Or is it Angel or Cupid Kirby? Cupid Kirby.
It's Cupid Kirby, right?
One of the two. So he has his little bow. He has his heart mirror, or heart arrow, and we got it.
That's Amazing Mirror, right? Or is it Squeak Squad?
I think it's Amazing Mirror.
I have to point out David's showing off his incredible Kirby on stream
nice.
as well. His also more subtle flex is that he's got just loads of E3 badges and stuff hanging behind Kirby.
Like E3 PAX badges and various other conventions covered in
proof that conventions are a thing that did happen.
I know, yeah. Those are gonna be relics.
I know, right? Those will be
Let's
some.
See if
orange
I can balance Chibi Tetsu on my shoulder here. Let's see how long
good
this
luck.
lasts. Yeah,
we're gonna have to get him some Velcro.
Remember when people
paw
actually
pads.
got together and played video games together?
Right.
Those were the days.
Oh God.
I someone in the chat that I don't recognize, so I apologize if I just don't remember you. Podunku says, I theorize that Microsoft probably wants xCloud on Switch. Maybe it's something on Nintendo's end, considering we still don't have other basic streaming apps like Netflix or Crunchyroll. That is an interesting
that
point.
Might be the whole. Isn't Hulu on Switch? How well does that run?
That's a great question.
I don't think Hulu's on Switch, is it?
No, it is. It's
Is
like
it?
one of the only
Okay.
streaming services that is actually. Netflix
I know
is,
Netflix
but Hulu
is.
is.
Oh,
And it
Netflix
works fine.
isn't.
I mean,
No, Netflix
yeah.
isn't on
Well,
that, so it
Oh.
might be the whole Wi-Fi thing.
Oh,
They needed upgraded Wi-Fi in order to do that
you know,
better.
I
That's so
do
weird, though, because
apologize.
According to 112, it is really good, so it runs great. So I don't know. I don't know why these other services aren't on there. It makes sense.
So
But
I feel like I need to point this out because I'm usually pretty good about this. I didn't recognize Podunk UU because they just joined. They became a $5
Oh.
patron during the show
wow.
and joined the live
Wow.
chat. So welcome
Dang.
aboard,
Awesome.
Podunk.
Thank
Thank you so much. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, we
Got the
appreciate
1-2
that.
punch of support right there.
I
Yeah.
also
I know.
I feel a lot better about not recognizing the name. I feel validated in a way.
Welcome.
Yeah, indeed. Getting new producers, new EPs, new live audience members. Love it. Love it. All right, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and move on to story number 3. And that is that, and this is unfortunate. Game Informer had to put out a PSA that Cyberpunk 2077 can cause epileptic seizures or episodes. This comes by way of Liana Rupert, who
Yep.
I do believe is afflicted with epilepsy. I could be wrong about that.
She is. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just want to point out something that is somewhat related, tangentially related. This poor woman got attacked for putting this out. She
so dumb.
Of course
received
she did.
not only
How
just
dare she say something bad about this game when it hurt her, literally?
yeah, this is the
Yeah.
shittiest thing I've encountered in a while. So she just put this out for other folks that are in her same situation. It is an ostensibly kind thing to do, to let people know that, hey, if you are prone to photosensitive episodes, then maybe just hold off on Cyberpunk till they patch it. That's great. That is doing the community a service.
And it does recognize it too, so that's good progress in that regard. So
yeah, and she got sent videos that were designed to trigger those episodes, and that is disgusting. So
People
whoever
are
you
just
are,
trash. Like the
whoever-
actual
yeah.
trash.
the
I mean,
folks that are doing
I think
that,
a lot of it
just-
is definitely through like the Twitter kind of platform and just kind of people feeling like they can kind of like go out and kind of say whatever they want in that regard. Liana, unfortunately, is no stranger to this type of verbal
Yeah.
abuse. I've had to witness it as well as hear about it a lot from her personally, since I'm good friends with her. And it's just, you know, it does kind of like shake a little bit of your faith in humanity whenever you see this sort of thing, or at least in the gaming community anyway. But that's why it is important to kind of like focus on people like Liana, like who are positive forces within the gaming industry who are bringing things like this forward. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, the more visibility we can get on stuff like this, because this is at its core an accessibility issue, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
as we've said many times on this show in the past, and we will continue to say in the future, there is no downside to accessibility. There absolutely none. You know, I wish CDPR would have caught this and that the game wouldn't have shipped in this state. That alone is a little troublesome, worrisome. I've run 2 streams for the game today. We've had a disclaimer on the bottom of the screen thanks to Ann Munition, a content creator who put out like a free epilepsy warning video that you can put on top of your stream. So we used that on both of our streams today, and we will continue to for any content we make surrounding Cyberpunk, you know, until such time that it's patched out.
Yeah, and CD Projekt Red
Right.
did respond to this. That they tweeted out, "Thank you for bringing this up. We're working on adding a separate warning in the game aside from the one that exists in the EULA." Regarding a more permanent solution, dev team is currently exploring that and will be implementing it as soon as possible. But as many people brought up, how did this pass QA?
Yeah, that to me,
Seriously.
It's been a
I
thing
mean-
that people are aware of ever since Pikachu. You know, on,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, with Pokemon Show and all
ever
that. Yeah.
since Pokemon. So there's a reason Porygon never showed up in the anime again because of that.
So I can say, as someone who has worked within like just like tech industries in general throughout most of my career, that most tech industries, and I imagine gaming kind of falls under this, don't have their own dedicated accessibility department, basically. And QA generally does not serve that role. They're just looking for bugs and anything that's game breaking, basically, but nothing that's actually and nothing that actually can be problematic on the accessibility front. So I imagine only like maybe like EA, Ubisoft, like bigger companies basically may have that. I can't say that for sure, but it's unfortunately not a mainstream thing within tech industries as a whole. So
yeah, no, I can attest to that. I was at one point a very long time ago a QA tester in the games industry, and yeah, it was literally just a checklist of mundane things to do. There was never like anybody even thinking about that kind of stuff. And I think it's great that it's becoming more mainstream. I think, as Ash mentioned on our last episode, accessibility is having something of a moment right now. And I hope that it isn't just a moment. I hope it becomes a industry standard practice. Games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima have some great accessibility options. Steve Saylor out there, who I shout out whenever I can, is doing a great job championing accessibility for people. So the more
Spawn also.
yeah, that's true. A lot of good
yeah.
Steves in the accessibility space.
They're dominated by Steves. All the Steves was taking over that space.
I missed my calling here apparently. So yeah, oh, go ahead, please.
Do you, there's some back and forth going on in the chat with Rob Arman suggesting that perhaps, not for sure, but perhaps this did get caught by QA and the higher ups were just thinking maybe we need to get this game out, ship
Not
it,
high priority.
we'll worry about this later. Do you think it's possible that this was flagged and management was just like, you know what, we'll deal with that if it happens?
I think. Oh, go ahead, or Derek. Sorry.
The weird thing is that I linked to another one, is that they didn't. Somebody pointed out, Rinji Renee on Twitter pointed out in an article that they hadn't warned anyone that they put this in the game because, according to Liana, when suiting up, the headset fits over both eyes and features a rapid onslaught of red and white blinking LEDs, much like the actual device neurologists use in real life to trigger a seizure when they need to trigger one for diagnosis purposes. If not modeled off the IRL design, it's a very spot-on coincidence, and because of that, this is one aspect I would personally advise you to avoid altogether, because it's a pattern of light specifically designed to trigger that epileptic episode. And
wow.
Because of that, it's when it's so specifically designed, meant to emulate that sort of thing, they had to have researched this. It's not something you just know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's something that we're not going to find out unless someone from QA does speak up, who knows if there's like some sort of contractual obligation that they won't be able to, at least until a certain amount of time passes or whatever it may be. But, if it was something that was just left by the wayside because it wasn't a high priority issue, boy howdy, it is high priority now because this has really gone on the limelight at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been surrounded by all kinds of issues surrounding Cyberpunk 2077, and it's kind of ugly.
It's a shame because so far, and I have only four-ish hours under my belt. It's a good game. I mean, but it's also hard to look at this stuff and think. My take on this is that I like to assume that people are operating with good intentions. I don't want to live in a world where I assume somebody saw something like this and was like, "Yep, seizures, cool." I really don't want to think that that's
unless
the
they
thing
have like
that
a track
happened.
record for it or something. But,
right. This is the first time something like this, and this is objectively terrible, has come out of CDPR. Like, they've done things that are definitely tone deaf, insensitive. But this is a different.
Well, they're also
level.
a Polish dev too, and like obviously being like a Polish dev, like their I don't know, sense of morality is going to be like a little different, depending on cultural views. Like I do notice that anyway, like with like European nations, with Asian nations as well. Like people just kind of generally have a different, I guess like not as woke viewpoint of the world, I guess, as people in the United States.
That's fair. Yeah, it's
or at least,
unfortunate, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The response on Twitter that they gave was good. It was, like, hey, thank you for bringing this up. We're definitely working on it. We know what's going on. And it could have been something. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, I'm hoping that they just overlooked this. Obviously, if it came out that they knew about this and let it slide, that's, like you said, David, that is a big deal kind of problem. So
I want to say it is that they overlooked it. not purposely, but like just by accident, just not even thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, like I think this is a good growing point for them, but also for other studios going forward, especially studios who are looking to make big games like this that have so many moving parts to it that you can't really pay as much attention to each moving part as you would like to.
Right, and it's worth noting that these poor folks, it's well known that they were overworked in the creation of this game. Like, and there was
culture is
lot,
still real.
There's a lot of shit you can overlook when you're tired. I hate to say it, put it in those.
Just don't care. It's like not that many people will be affected by it. Like, what's that?
Yeah,
0.1%.
That's a viewpoint for a lot of them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not only that. I mentioned this on one of our first episodes. There were nights where I would stay up and be writing scripts for videos, and it'd be 3 a.m. or something. I would have gotten up at 6 the morning prior, and I would just realize that the quality of my work was tanking hard because I was just I wasn't in the right headspace to continue working, and I would have to force myself like to peel away and get some rest and then go look at it.
Get some rest.
That would be
9 times out of 10, I would go back and look at what I wrote in those hours and think like, wow, this is trash. Like, this is nowhere near what I should be doing, and start over anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's entirely possible that maybe somebody did notice this and meant to do something about it, and just, you're working 18-hour days and your mind isn't as clear as it would be if you just went home and got some sleep. So,
100%.
Yeah.
All right.
Even assuming that might be best to wait 6 months to a year for patches come out, them to hopefully address the transphobia issues, hopefully address the epileptic issues, and iron out a lot of the bugs, and maybe make a more firm product.
Well, when you say the transphobia,
go ahead.
Oh yeah. So I was gonna ask, like follow up, like asking, like by like the transphobia issues. Are you talking about the there was like the fake ad that's like in game of like an energy drink or something like that, and it shows like a woman with like a penis or something like that? Is that what you're talking about, Derek?
Not too familiar. The big thing, I've heard about it, but I've not looked into it too deeply myself about the exact transphobic aspects. But I have also heard that gender is determined by voice, and that was a big thing for trans culture.
There's also some transphobic tweets now, and the person who made those tweets has been fired, to be fair, in total, in the interest of fairness. But there's tone deaf imagery in the game that's that could be considered transphobic. The whole thing with the voice being based, your gender being based on your voice choice, and then of course the social media aspect. CDPR just isn't known for being particularly progressive.
I mean, I haven't played the game, but I mean, like, because I always thought that, like, when you create a character in the game, that there's no gender that you pick, and the gender's not outwardly made out in the game anyway. It's just more of like how you look and all that.
That's correct. So, but I think I could be wrong on this. Like I said, only 4 hours, right? So I haven't tooled around a lot. But I think
you made your character though, so you know how the character creation process goes,
your pronouns I think are decided for you though. So like if you make a masculine voiced person, you get he him pronouns in the game.
Okay,
if
so it's based on the voice tone.
Yeah. So there's no outward like selector of gender, and you can definitely have a non-binary appearance, but whatever you choose for that voice decides your pronouns, and that's really unfortunate because that might be hard to fix.
Silly oversight. Well, and what an obvious oversight but again, I don't. Unfortunately, CDPR being who they are, I'm guessing it just wasn't a priority for them.
I think again, this kind of goes back to around to being like cultural as well. So like it's just not seen as a priority kind of thing. But now, I mean, obviously with like Twitter culture, I mean, they kind of like are recognizing it, at least in this case.
Yeah, they're more on the. They gotta. I think they're realizing, oh crap, we're more on the worldwide stage now, so we gotta.
Yeah, we got Keanu Reeves in your game, so yeah, you should have a lot more eyes on your game for sure.
Exactly. One thing I will say is even if the epilepsy, the mistake was made in good faith and it was just overlooked, and that's certainly possible. I wish we could prosecute every asshole who sent her the imagery,
the videos
designed to trigger her epilepsy. They should be prosecuted and they should go to jail for that. Straight up. And I know it'll never happen. And I know I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who'd be like, oh, you woke asshole, just stop being such a snowflake. No, screw that, man. That should be considered assault.
Actively trying to cause harm. That is assault.
Yeah.
That is the specific design in mind.
So yeah,
Yeah. Well, this is kind of getting like a little off topic, but I mean, like, since Twitter's already kind of like policing people's tweets, I mean, they could very easily police any sort of like, video content that could trigger epilepsies. I mean, that's certainly something that's within their power, clearly,
Well, we all know they're so good at designing algorithms to police media content.
Yeah.
Ever try?
Nailed it.
Yeah. So,
Charlie Bird says CD Project really, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
I just want to close this out with my thoughts on those same folks. As Ash mentioned, if any of those folks ever see this episode, please accept my biggest, loudest fuck you. You should never ever be fuck all the way off and get the fuck out of here. I don't know. If you set out to cause harm to someone on the internet, you shouldn't be on the internet.
Sounds like a unanimous fuck you around the horn here.
And it's no surprise, but somebody responded to her review talking about it was I think the Quartering was complaining about her review and responded to that tweet saying, "Hey, I'm a male reviewer and I gave Cyberpunk a lower score than she did. Why aren't you going after me?" And we all know why. Because of misogyny that just runs rampant in this industry. And
why would you want people to go after you anyway for a review that people don't like? Like, I don't understand.
Well, and what is it with game enthusiasts and the way they identify? They protect these brands. They identify with the games they play, and it's like it's an affront to their identity if they get a low.
It's very odd.
Absurd.
We're getting into psychological terms here now, Ash. This would be like a 3-hour podcast. We're talking about all this for sure.
Right.
All right.
Not the games you play, people.
We have used the name of right-wing gaming's Voldemort. So I think now's a good time to move on to a different story. Get the taste of that bearded freak out of my mouth. All right. On to happier news. What seems like an obligatory mention at this point, Daniel Ahmad, Zooge EX, Daniel Ahmad, industry analyst, known for his coverage on the Chinese gaming industry for the most part, tweeted out today, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake has been delayed to March 18th, 2021. The delay is to improve the game. It was originally scheduled for January 21st. Surprise! I mean, I honestly.
I find this funny because we were looking in the post show on Monday. We were looking at what was coming up in January, and I mentioned that it's like, oh, Prince of Persia is coming out in January, and we'll see how that turns out. Because I'll be honest, that reveal trailer didn't do a lot for me, despite loving the original Sands of Time. So hopefully this will iron things out. I don't know if 2 months will do a lot, but
not a lot, but some bug fixes here and there, maybe or something performance.
I genuinely hope they touch up the visuals here.
Not like a big difference, but it'll make a difference.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'd like to see something nice out of this because I do enjoy the Sands of Time. And
well, Derek, sounds like you're reviewing this one.
Probably
volunteered.
Crap.
Oh, really?
I mean, they do the rest of the games in this trilogy as remakes as well. If this does well, boy, that second game needs some work.
Right.
That's like the lowest scoring one, I think, right? Yeah, Warrior Within. Yeah.
Maybe stop playing the series because I saw that like this isn't Prince of Persia. This is like I think I played a demo where the butt on the boat and immediately have girls' butt cheeks in your face, butt rock going on.
Wow,
booty butts.
Way more. It's just like,
well, no, that's
good.
a first.
Yeah.
Much ass.
So like the review score, like in the cons, it'll be like too much booty butt cheeks.
Too much booty butts.
I give that game
6 out of 10. Booty butt cheeks, too much.
I give that game an ass pulsing out of 10.
Ironically, like one of the first streams that Ash, Derek, and I did together, like as we were that potentially served as the incubator for the idea of Good Vibes Gaming, was us all uncomfortably watching a cosplayer be strutted around a stage by Koei Tecmo. So
she's there for, but it's still funny.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's still funny, but it's. I mean, it's whatever. People enjoy it. Whatever you can enjoy, whatever the heck they want. But
Japanese Twitter thought it was pretty funny of us.
It just feels sort of awkward to be with two other people watching this. Like, okay.
Really? So you all gonna do Hyrule Warriors or not?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right. So
I mean, I don't have too much to say about Prince of Persia. I've never been a big fan of the series, but I've heard that the Sands of Time is awesome. I can't say the reveal trailer of the remaster did much for me, so I think maybe a couple of months in the oven is a good idea.
yeah.
But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, Derek, as a dyed-in-the-wool Prince of Persia fan. So
Well, at least
see how it
that
goes.
game,
At
and
least
the
that game.
2008 game. I
Yeah.
like that one.
Mhm.
But Sands of Time is good because it has, because of the whole, it's a story. The game's being told as later, so it's being told as a story. So when every time you mess up and die, and you can't rewind, when you rewind, or actually whenever you die, screwing that up. But anyway, whenever you die, it's like, no, that's not right. I told the story wrong. Let me restart.
Right.
Fun little things like that. That was pretty unique at the time.
Ubisoft has done a good job with their storytelling lately. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Immortals Phoenix Rising kind of like in tandem. And I've really been enjoying both of those from a narrative perspective. Like, one is obviously a very serious game. Valhalla takes itself very seriously, right? But Immortals Phoenix Rising is so fun because it's so light. Like, the whole time Prometheus and Zeus are like narrating your adventures, and Zeus is like this petulant man baby that like is constantly just talking smack. Like it's actually,
So he's Twitter, basically.
he's he's Twitter with an edit button. So
it's an improvement on Twitter.
yeah. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm curious to see this. Sands of Time, like you, Ash, I don't really have a history with this game. I think I tried it once upon a time, but didn't click for me either. So Derek, I'll be real curious to hear it. I'm hoping that this is to polish up character models because I thought they looked a little rough.
Yeah, I think that might be the big thing they need to really.
Yeah, I remember watching the trailer and thinking like, oh, I'm so happy for people. And then I spotted, like, no joke, in the trailer, like the same NPC like next to each other. Like in your trailer, I was like, you guys, like, did no one notice that this is the same character model repeated? Like, not even in different shots. They were just shoulder to shoulder. I'm like, you got to try a little bit harder.
It'll be a wild one to go to that one and see how it turns out. Hopefully good though. Yeah,
that would be a fun like trailer comparison video to do. Like, if it somehow got worse, that would be impressive.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even do this? It's like,
they put it in the oven for 2 more months and they burned it.
This is a bad sign. Supposedly the dev team is like 10 to 15 people, and we're given table scraps for a budget by Ubisoft. Those are the rumors anyway.
That's fair.
I can definitely believe that.
Yeah,
I will say the Prince of Persia game that I put the most time into is the original one, the Apple II.
Wow.
It's in Sands of Time, so I tried it out, and that's an interesting turn because it's so precise.
It's very precise. I mean, like the whole thing. I mean, obviously, with it having like the animation that it has, like it was very impressive back then. But like with Sands of Time, I mean, like I only played like a little bit of it. I didn't play it all the way through, but it's definitely like a game that I always want to get back to around at some point or whatever. So this would be like a good good chance to do that. But doing like a remake or like a remaster of it in this case, I believe. I mean, like I think it would be great. Like just give it more time, just like anything else. I'm always a fan of like just take your time, give as much time as you need to this game to make it as good as possible on day one. So let's stop the cycle of like releasing games that are half baked and then you come out with like a day 1 patch or day 30 patch or something like that when it's actually playable, all this stuff. So, so I'm always in favor of delays, whether for like mental health people or for the actual game itself.
Yeah. The big takeaway from Prince of Persia, now that I'm thinking about more of it, like remembering more, excellent platforming. Yeah, okay, but combat, very samey combat.
Yeah, I got that sense of it for sure. Yeah.
All right, so with Prince of Persia out of the way, why don't we move forward to our next story, see what we've got. Indeed. So Ghost of Tsushima won the Player's Voice poll for the Game Awards, so I'm surprised. I like this game a lot, and I'm still really surprised.
I was originally surprised when I saw this, and then I thought about it, and I was like, okay, well, The Last of Us Part 2. This is the player's choice, right? So we got a lot of, as we know, the gamers are gamers. I mean, this is the gaming community. We got a lot of homophobic people out there who just hate The Last of Us Part 2 on principle because it's got Ellie and it's got, you play as a muscular, ripped woman at some point as well. So, you got a lot of misogynistic, homophobic people out there who are going to not vote for The Last of Us Part 2 on principle. And then there's FF7 Remake, which I've said this before. I just think Square Enix games in general are not the kinds of games that win things like this because of the anime aspect. The anime aspect just makes it.
Leave that to the weebs.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think that a game like FF7 Remake is gonna win over
it's
the
a damn shame because
anime.
It is a technical marvel of a game, honestly.
It's my choice for sure. But I just, there's that crowd out there that hates anime on principle. Anything that even reminds them of anime, it sucks to them.
Well, hopefully Crunchyroll can change their mind.
Right? So, in that light, after I thought about those 2 points, I was like, you know what? I'm actually not as surprised as I initially was that this went to Ghost of Tsushima.
According to Watananiac, says, I saw Ghost and Last of Us 2 were within 1% of each other, so it must have been close. And Michael Phone says the poll got botted by 4chan when The Last of Us was winning. So
there it is.
Might be there. But that said, I think it makes sense that Ghost of Tsushima did win out. It's sort of non-controversial. It's in that sweet spot. It's not anime-ish like Final Fantasy. It's not like Hades.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing wasn't going to win a poll like this. I think most Nintendo fans don't tend to care, or not enough droves to.
Yeah.
People playing Animal Crossing are not voting on Game Awards stuff.
Right.
For the vast majority. And Ghost of Tsushima, I've heard is great, but doesn't do any one thing particularly mind-blowing. It's just a really good overall game, which is fine.
Really solid game that plays it safe, basically, I would say. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Which makes sense why I would actually win that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Scott
also
Barber,
being free of a controversy too, as opposed to like The Last of Us Part 2, because I certainly have my issues with The Last of Us Part 2, but none of it obviously links to me being a misogynist or or homophobic or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there are legit concerns with the storytelling with The Last of Us, and even some of the gameplay aspects. I certainly could go into detail about it. I won't here, but I can certainly go into detail. So I think because of the fact that I did have so much controversy to it and it's so schismed, especially in the online community. Certainly open it up for something like Ghost of Tsushima to take it. Even though, like you, Ash, I would much prefer for Final Fantasy VII Remake to get the love that it deserves.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, on that note, David, I just wanted to highlight something Scott Barber said in the chat. They really liked The Last of Us Part 2, but there were reasons not to like it other than crappy homophobic and transphobic opinions. Absolutely, Scott. I didn't want to imply that there aren't other reasons to dislike it. I just think that the reason it lost the popular vote in the player's choice thing is, again, 4chan bot. It got 4chan botted. People who are voting against it just because of that. That's not to say
that has a play into it for sure.
Oh yeah,
there's a bit of that, but it's not the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate that I've dodged hate mobs most of my career in games, but when I reviewed The Last of Us Part 2, I got a lot of shit for it. Comments were calling me a paid actor, telling me I'm a shill for liking the game. Just a bunch of
if you don't agree with
dumb
them,
shit.
How much did Sony pay you to say that?
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
gotten that before. Yeah, I got people were coming down on me just for tweeting that I bought it. When I went out to go buy it, I've heard a lot about it. Can't wait to play it. And I tweeted a picture of the box because I went to pick it up at Target, and people just lost their mind just for playing the game. How dare I? Yeah, how dare I not ask Twitter for permission before I decide to play a game?
How dare you partake in consumerism?
It's whatever. I mean, that being said, I don't want to take away from the fact that Ghost of Tsushima won. It is a good game. It's a really fun game.
Check it out.
I loved it personally. It's an easy platinum too.
Yeah.
A lot of PS4 games this past year that I have not had a chance to check out that I still want to check out, and there's years before that I want to check out as well. But eventually.
Yeah.
Rob Arman X says, I can't believe Sony bought Crunchyroll and Steve's opinion.
So much money just dishing around.
Yeah, I know. They sent me a PlayStation 5, Obviously, this is how they paid for those.
You're clearly bought and paid for over there. I can see.
Yeah, exactly.
I am wearing a PlayStation shirt too. I should probably just.
I know, yeah. You corporate shill.
Oh dear.
It reminds me of like the Animaniacs reboot with the Hulu merchandise all over.
Oh yeah.
The money.
And people are actually mad about that too. I know people are like mad about that as well. It's like Hulu is buying my childhood.
Could you be mad about? Oh, geez.
They brought back the show you love with the same people who like do the characters that you love.
How dare
This
I?
has nothing to do with gaming, but Animaniacs is a case study on how to do a reboot correctly, and people are going to get pissed about that. Yeah, we got to move on. And I can't.
All right.
It's 2020.
Do more anime stuff, Steve.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and throw our next story up on the screen. Congrats, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so this is going to be a fun one for me. So Jeff Keighley tweeted, "Don't miss a brand new look at Nier Replicant version, a bunch of numbers, during the Game Award pre-show on Thursday, streaming at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific at thegameawards.com." So, yeah, Nier Replicant, cool. I've not played Automata yet because I'm a terrible human being. It's been sitting on my PS4 hard drive for 4 years.
Same. Yeah. I have it, but I just haven't put the time into it, unfortunately.
Wait, I'm the only one of us four who've played Automata. Oh man, you guys, you're missing.
So tell us all about it, Ash. Why is it your game of the year?
It was close to it the year I played it, or the year it came out. But it is one of those games that really does live up to the hype, you guys. If you get a chance,
I completely believe it because in preparation to play Automata, I played the original Nier. I've done this whole thing, and so I'm very familiar with the whole Replicant story. And it's one of those things where great story, great music, not the greatest combat, but it does the job well. It's fine, but it's really the characters and story that pulls you in and really makes it something. And I think that's why Automata hit, is because the combat was way better than what we'd gotten before. And it still had that good story and music and kind of just great way to put it out there.
I played a demo, so I mean, like I could tell that like the combat was definitely a lot better than the original game for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, Derek, you specifically, there is one of the biggest moments. I won't spoil it, of course, but one of the biggest moments in Kingdom Hearts 3, I believe, took direct inspiration from something huge that happens in Automata, and Automata did it first. So once you eventually play it, I think you'll see what I mean, and the chat might know what I mean.
Nier content in Final Fantasy 14, so I think they're like that potentially ties into the overall story of Nier and all of that. But it is a big thing to have this remake, and it is good if they can make it. They can make it solid. It's kind of funny because Nier came out in two different versions, one for Japan, one for US. The big difference was Nier himself. In Japanese, he's younger and is the brother to one of the girls. In America, he's the older and the father of this little girl. And I think looking at the story and how it plays out, it feels like it goes better as like the relationship works better as father-daughter, but with the other characters, it works better as a younger man type thing. So it's a weird thing that doesn't quite match up fully on either case. But we only get young man Nier in this one. That said, old man Nier is ugly as sin.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I'm excited to play this though. I never played the original Nier. I always was curious about it, but I just never really had a chance to really check it out. And I'm excited, especially because I loved Automata so much. I'm so interested in this universe. I really can't wait to see. I know the broad strokes of how it started because of things that happen in Automata, and there's some backstory there. But I can't wait to experience it myself. And
it's a solid sci-fi like world and story. So yeah,
it really is. Yeah.
And amazing that it's a spin-off of Drakengard of all things.
I know, right?
I liked that. I liked Drakengard 3, but you know what I'm excited for, Ash? I'm excited that we're going to be streaming the Game Awards right here.
What?
So you can come join us tomorrow night
our
at
first
4:30.
ever team stream. I'm so excited.
Yep, team stream. We are an official co-streamer of the Game Awards, so you can find us here. And I have put a lot of work into our presentation for this. So we are going to I developed I don't know if you all know, but I'll get a little technical on you for a minute. I wrote a PowerShell script so that every time someone on the stream says world premiere, we'll have a running counter on the stream, and we will drink.
World
So
premiere.
I
I'm
will.
picking up a beer
I love,
tonight.
I love that voice.
I may very
World
well
premiere.
pass away, is what I'm trying to tell you. And this will be
World premiere.
unlike TNT, open to everyone. The whole public
Yeah.
will be able to join us for this.
We'll be live streaming it, so yeah,
And-
of course it's gonna be open to everybody.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
it's cool.
Um,
We've got animations, we've got beer, we've got the whole thing. It's like a high school party without any of your friends. So
And the fun part is that I will be doing the pre-show as well, which starts at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. So it's gonna be a long night because we got the pre-show, we got the main show, and then we have a post-show of our own where we're gonna be bringing on Scott the Waz to discuss what was revealed and shown during the whole thing to see how it all wraps up. We're gonna be going for a while, it seems. So that'll be something like that.
Yeah.
It's something else entirely. And the funny thing is, it's kind of off topic, but of course, Persona 5 Strikers was officially revealed this week. This was totally meant for the show, the Game Awards, though, because they're having the main singer of the Persona 5 songs performing in the pre-show. So it's like,
Yeah.
whoop.
It's a great soundtrack too, so I'm really looking forward to see like a live rendition of it right there. That's pretty sweet.
yeah, it'll definitely be a fun show. So if you're gonna watch the Game Awards, please watch it with us. We're cool. We're
And
your
please
friends.
also please watch it responsibly. Like, we're gonna get beer. Like, we're not actually gonna do shots every time.
No.
Yeah,
this
no.
We won't survive the experience, and neither will you. So just like,
Team world premieres. Like,
if you want to drink with us, that's fine. But just have beer, something like don't please. We don't want to like
Have a
get
soda,
mad.
have a
Nice or
water.
something.
I don't care. It's about camaraderie, not about waking up the next morning wondering why your car's on
Fun to
fire.
die.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, also yeah, I don't know that Scott is going to be drinking with us. We have not asked him to do that.
No, I
It's
doubt it because he's not going to
unbecoming.
be here with all the world premieres.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I can't say for sure, but I do believe she won't be on camera. But I do believe that my wife will be joining us off camera for just commenting on things as they happen, because we always watch the Game Awards every year together. Anyway, even before when we were doing it as the GX crew, she would be off camera just giving her take on things. So she might be part of this as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
And
come.
Amy, I'm sure Amy will be around just because it's so late and goes for so long. So
Yeah.
you might get baby on stream.
Cool. There we
Oh,
go.
man.
So sounds like a promising evening. A couple of adults drinking, making fun of the Game Awards, potentially a baby. Who knows? It'll be a good time though.
All that.
So we are just about at the end of tonight's program. So let's do our last story. I don't even remember what it is at this point. Let's go.
Ninja Gaiden.
Ooh, there we
Ninja
go. So
Not Gaiden, it's Gaiden.
here we go.
Right.
Yeah. I don't understand why people call it Gaiden, but anyway, Ninja Gaiden Sigma Trilogy
Schoolyard
listed for
arguments.
Nintendo Switch and PS4 by Web Store Extra Life includes Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Gaiden Sigma 2, Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Not a lot to really break down here. I'm not the world's biggest 3D Ninja Gaiden fan because I'm
Same.
terrible at them, but it's exciting for folks that are into these games, but I'm not sure what the track record of Extra Life is. I think it was either
I saw
you.
a response where they've basically said they've incorrectly leaked stuff before, where they said that Metal Gear Solid 5 would be released March of 2015. It released in September. They said the Series X would be $430 when it was actually $499. But this one has a little bit more possibility because there was a Hong Kong listing as well on Reddit back in September, kind of
Hong Kong
leaking.
never lies.
So there's a bit more to it than that. Not a huge amount, but we'll see. Ash actually noticed that they used for this mock-up, they're
Yeah.
using the wrong logo.
I have a personal vendetta against whatever intern made this mock-up because they used the original NES trilogy logo for this
Right.
mock-up, and that's what I want. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority. The 3D Ninja Gaiden games, they're cool, whatever, take them, leave them. I actually legit want the NES trilogy ported to Switch, and like with rewind and save states, like that would be awesome. And
don't we
that's
have
not what this is,
Ninja
but
Gaiden 1 at the very least on the
we
Switch?
do have that on NES Online,
do.
so we do
Yeah.
at
So
least
it's
have that.
3 that's missing, I think, or
2 and 3. So
Okay.
I would totally go for a like a collection on Switch of all 3 NES games, but that's not what this appears to be. Whoever made the mock-up, we are never going to be friends.
Okay.
We are.
So we talked about this before, but it would be funny if the rumor is that this is coming to Switch. I don't know if it's also any other systems as well for this trilogy, but really funny if like, all right, it's out on Switch, and then Smash Ryu Hayabusa.
that'd be sweet.
That would be
That would
pretty.
be cool.
That would be hype.
Honestly,
If it's
of the legacy NES characters, he's the one that probably deserves it the most.
That'd be cool.
As long as it's Hayabusa from NES and not like Dead or Alive 3D Ninja Gaiden Hayabusa.
What,
I
you don't
would
like
be all about
Hayabusa
that.
with frosted
Give me like
tips,
a light
man?
purple, like lavender kind of like ninja garb, and like
Yeah.
like quick slashes here and there. Like that'd be great. Yeah, totally.
I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's so many stages I can think of they could pull from the 3DS games. Not to mention the music, the soundtracks for all 3 of those games are so good. That's why.
that
That's
alone
the
is
main
the reason
I
for
wanted
them in
to
the
be
game.
like
Honestly, the
Hayabusa.
music. Yeah.
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 No, that would be so cool though. Or do both, right? Have like 2 different, like 4 NES Hayabusa costumes, and then 4 3D era Hayabusa costumes.
Yeah, I think that
would be
makes
cool.
sense because there's
cool.
fans both
Yeah.
sides. Have the classic fans, have the new school fans.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
would
think
be so about that.
I think the original 3D Ninja Gaiden game that was on the OG Xbox, I think there was an ability, like if you went through like some stupidly hard requirements, basically, you could actually unlock the original NES game to play it on the Xbox.
Oh, could you?
Oh,
It's
nice.
pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
that's
I
pretty
loved
sick.
like the first 3D Ninja Gaiden. It's definitely very tough. Like a lot of those games are very tough. Like the Ninja Gaiden series in general, this is very, very tough. But it's just one kind of like, if you're in the Dark Souls like mindset of like gaming basically, and Dark Souls isn't your bag, this might be. So I would definitely highly recommend for anyone to check it out, especially if if this collection is coming out. It's definitely something I might look to picking up later on in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It'd be kind of cool if Akane was an old costume as well.
that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
And I
cool.
mean, there is actual. I mean, I would say there's still a real possibility that Hayabusa could be one of the remaining DLC characters. We know that Nintendo and Koei Tecmo have a good working relationship. Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors, or OG, obviously. So I feel like this could be maybe a Terry-esque situation where we got this SNK character out of nowhere. Maybe we'll get this Koei Tecmo character out of nowhere. I don't think it's impossible. That's all I'm going to say. We'll see though.
I mean, if they can get Kunio-kun from River City Ransom in there, I mean, I'm just kind of just thinking now, like what you said, Koei
That'd be
Tecmo.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so
boy.
I think
Well-
we've reached the end.
The end.
So,
Mm.
so tonight is over.
We
I'm
have almost, but I really quick. I wanted to wish. Oh, I can't find your name right now. but I wanted to wish you, the
happy
Norman.
21st.
The Norman. I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, 21st birthday.
Oh,
Yes.
happy
Turned
birthday.
21st
happy
on our
birthday.
Tuesday break. So yeah,
awesome.
happy
And
birthday.
just in time for the Game Awards drink-a-thon.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
So grab a beer, just one. Just trust
And I
me
guess
on
really
that.
quick, because I haven't had one yet. 112 keeps saying that they're hoping for a Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection announcement during TGA tomorrow. I'm sorry, don't get your hopes up. I
don't expect
TGA doesn't seem like the right venue for a Mega Man announcement. I just don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong. I would love to be, but don't get your hopes up.
We
Yeah,
got the Z and ZX collections, so I'm sure that'll come like sometime down the road, if not like then, but
Yeah.
maybe sometime in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so there people are apparently taking shots at Ash's mega mentions now. So, well, you're
He's
lucky
been
you
doing
only
that
got
for a
one.
while.
Mega shot.
That's technically a second
Yeah,
one. So
Mega. Hey, Captain Ed. Yeah.
Oh God, Chain Smoker Green Mega Man from Captain N.
Oh, God.
I thought that was a voice you were doing there. It's like mega.
Yeah.
We're mega
Yeah.
screwed here.
The worst.
Screw.
Oh, the worst. All right, we got to let
Wow.
Steve do his outro.
Yeah. Okay, this episode is over. I'm calling it. It's over.
It's over.
It's over. It's over. That's 2 Homestar Runner references in 2 episodes. That's good.
We
Nice.
did it.
Nice.
Obviously, we're gonna make this a thing. All right.
Oh, why?
Email. All right. Sorry. All right. So with that last little bit of stupidity, let's just call it what it is. I'm not a smart man. That's it. The major headlines from today and yesterday. If you didn't catch the memo, we are now every other night. So today's news every other tonight, I guess. But so today's and yesterday's headlines, that is it. But before we sign off, David, where can we find you, my friend?
Sure. Best way to find me really would be on Twitter or Instagram. I'm at the Giltiman, DAGILTYMAN. There's also my website, logicallydashing.com. I'm looking to update that very, very shortly. Kind of put more emphasis on the voiceover side of things. And stay tuned for like any sort of postings I'll put on Twitter for the audiobook, which I did produce, nice. Which should be up very shortly. I'm not sure when. Again, that's up the Amazon. So, so again, it's Stay a While and Listen, Book 2, Heaven, Hell, and Secret Cow Levels. So I did the narration for it as well as the production of the book itself. It's 28 chapters, I believe, of crazy drama that happened at Blizzard during the 90s. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. I can't wait. I definitely want to check that out. Like I said, Diablo 2, my dad, we have a long history, so I definitely like to give that a read.
I'll share you the secret video that I have put together.
Yes, I can't wait to check that out. So before we sign off, we have to give special thanks to all our patrons, all of you. We love you all. But especially at our producer tier, y'all should see your name scrolling on the video on demand version right now. And an extra special thanks to our patrons at the executive producer tier, one of whom joined us in this episode. And those folks are Rob, Arman X, Dan and Twistle, Z Patty, Adam O'Sullivan, Floating Mew, Christopher, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Kieran Phillips, Benny Yao, my mom, hi mom, Geller, Shiny Turkey, Titus Malvolio, Jake Pelka, Michael Phone, Mitchell Herring, Jay Acosta, Game Explained, Charles Zaz, Andrew Medeiros, Jonathan Belmare, Kitty Kong Facts, Patrick Harrison, and our newest member, 112. Welcome to the club. Remember, you can join us on Patreon. You can become a patron at patreon.com/gvgaming. You can watch Today's News Tonight live for as little as $5 a month. You can join our exclusive Discord for just $1 a month. And you can get those cool producer and executive producer benefits for other prices. Feel free to go check out the site. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. And until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye, everyone.
Later.
Good night, everybody.